And so episode 3 of this poker voyage continues. Well,
Yes.
episode 3 begins and the voyage continues. But you feel me.
Big blind, Mitz.
Joseph looked like he was considering actually playing that. Oh, he hadn't looked at his cards yet. So that's a little too loose for Joseph.
Joseph's been weirdly loose some of the time in this game, which
Yes.
is not something we're accustomed to. There's Austin, a new player who's been doing quite well in the game so far.
Yep, he's looked very comfortable and been very aggressive. Los Digitales, who's of course back from Slovenia. Looks like is he measuring? Oh, I thought he is measuring out a 3-bet.
The digital one comes to
that.
life.
Wow. That is not normal digital Dan style.
I like it. Austin has been opening a fair amount,
Yeah.
so Dan's like, you know what? Screw you and your blue shirt. I'm the guy with the blue shirt.
Yeah, we both have blue shirts, by the way. Austin not going to be able to fold 5s.
No, they're deep enough for sure to call for implied odds.
Yep, he can really just be. If I were Austin, I'd be calling just to set mine against the digital one, who really doesn't 3-bet light.
Right,
So
and this is relatively
very
early
unusual.
position. It's not like cutoff button or anything, and that's a good flop for Dan, obviously.
It's a good flop for Dan. It's also a good flop for Austin in that, like, there's nothing you can beat now unless Dan has really lost his mind. So you know that, and I'm sure Austin's planning just on check folding.
We've seen Dan check back strong hands in spots like this, but this is way too vulnerable to do that. And
Oh, yeah.
he recognizes that. Got about 175, it looks like.
Gotta believe that's just gonna do it.
If Austin does anything but fold, my opinion of him will change to this guy is a complete maniac. So that didn't happen.
Nope. Austin is measured aggression, I would say. High aggression, high levels of it, but measured all the same. Sort of like the gorilla in Rampage.
Yeah,
George the gorilla.
Can we not talk about it because I don't want any spoilers?
I'm not spoiling anything.
No, you spoiled that
Is
his
it
name
spoiled?
was George.
Come on.
I
man.
wanted to know
Didn't
that.
you see
I
the
wanted to
trailer?
learn his name organically when The Rock named him as a little baby, and I want to know why.
George
he
gets really big. Also, there's an alligator and something that flies that's dangerous. I can't remember what.
pterodactyl, maybe.
Is
I
it
don't
a
know.
squirrel? No, it can't be a flying squirrel, right? Some sort of wolf. It's a flying wolf,
That's awesome.
much like Austin. All right, Batista opens pocket eights. It's a good name, by the way, the Flying Wolf.
It's pretty good.
I mean, it's a great name.
Snuggy's gonna snuggy.
And the other guys get out of the way. Snuggy does have position.
He's got a pretty bad hand against Batiste's hand.
Yes, he does. It's
And
worse
that's
now.
that's bad. He's gonna pay off at least one bet.
Kind of has to pay off one bet here. I like that Batista's going to continue with the nuts. Look how quickly Snuggy goes to call.
It's a wet enough board that you should be continuing.
Wait, he didn't call. Snuggy
Did he raise?
raised.
He min raised.
I don't know. Why is he doing this? He's trying to...
He's trying to take control of the pot. I guess.
Is his plan to, like, check back a lot? Batista's going to just call, but I got to believe Snuggy's going to check back unless he improves.
Is
here
this
on
the
turn.
free river play?
I think it is.
Ooh, that might kill stuff. Actually, he
Yeah.
might get his free river. It doesn't matter. He's drawing dead.
So Batista, you got to believe, going to go for value here, and Snuggy's probably just going to give up.
Yeah, I mean, but if I were Batiste, he bets 200. I think I might bet a bit smaller.
Yeah, I don't know what we're really hoping Snuggy even has here.
Batiste kindly shows him the eights.
I think Snuggy was trying to do the old, raise for information play a little bit. Like, he folds, that's fine. I deny equity. He calls, I'm going to have to shut down a lot. That kind of a deal.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's all I got.
It's hard to understand what somebody who min raises middle pair on that flop is trying to accomplish because it's not something I would ever do.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that is outside my my vector.
I think it was probably the free river play. He was just trying
Yeah.
to avoid a big bet on the turn.
Yeah, I mean, he does, he pays a lot less than he otherwise would have to pay a lot of the time
Yeah.
by doing that. Austin's going to limp the king-jack.
This is a play I don't like from Austin. I mostly have liked Austin's play so far. I don't like this. I didn't like when he limped the ace-4 off in the last episode. But beyond those two plays, I think he's played pretty solid.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty much had run of the table thus far. Him and the professor, actually, who we see there in that white hoodie.
Yeah, he's getting...
Really had no problem
Well,
with
Professor's
anyone.
getting all of his bluffs through.
Yes.
Bluffs flew.
Well said.
Yeah.
Looks like Joseph
Joseph
is
is gonna
reaching.
He's gonna re-raise.
Wow.
Wow. It's because he knows he has Mitzvah beat.
This is amazing. We got 4-3 suited, 5-3 suited. If Austin had raised under the gun, I got to believe neither of these guys would have done
Nope.
any of this sort of stuff.
Joseph's just gonna win the hand. Mitzvah's gonna fold. He doesn't have a deep enough stack to even consider calling,
Yeah, with
unless
1K
Mitzvah
there.
loses his mind and moves in or
He
something.
could talk himself into the fact that he's in position, but this is not the kind of hand that you can call with this level of depth profitably.
I think Joseph recognized the situation. There was a bunch of limps, and Mitzvah was trying to steal on the button, and
Mitzvah.
Joseph recognized it.
Look at Mitzvah. He's like, come on, man. What? I didn't have to do that. All that stuff. I could have just limped, seen a flop in position. I mean, I don't mind his raise, but although he only raised it to 40 anyway, probably not enough.
You made it 65.
Well, he should.
What are you talking about?
That's better. That's better. You know, that's like so long ago. Who
Where
can
did
remember?
you? Where did you come up with 40?
I don't know. I just remember seeing 3 red and 1 green. So I went with 40. See, there you go. 3 red and 1 green, just like that. That's what it looked like to me.
Well, this time he makes it 40.
I guess there were 2 greens in there. That's all. Mitziff with jacks, a much better hand. Snuggie had limp to 10-9.
Austin calls the king 9 suited out of the
Sure.
big blind.
Gonna have to be a little careful. If either of these guys make a pair that isn't a king, gonna often be in trouble here. And well,
Good flop for Snuggie.
yep. Mitziff blocks some of Snuggie's draws though, and not draws, but some of his cards he's looking for. So that's good for Mitziff.
I mean, Mitzvah's not going to fold to a check raise here.
Of course not, especially not against Snuggie.
He might put it in, actually, with the stack to pot ratio if he gets check raised.
Snuggie definitely isn't gonna fold either. Let's see what he does here.
Just calls, it looks like. That's
No one likes
a
that card.
scary card for Mitzvah especially. The spades come in, and Snuggie does have a spade. Doesn't get there.
No. Also want to hit that king, but of course he couldn't call. And let's see if it goes check. It
already
does.
did, yeah.
Oh.
Could have gone for a little value there on the river, I think. Try to get called by an 8 or
It's
something.
a close spot. Snuggie does pay off a lot on the river.
Yeah.
This episode, or this session especially, he seems to be calling a lot on the river, so maybe he's a good candidate to go for thin value there.
I mean, you're almost always good. Snuggie almost always bets a spade on turn or river, and almost
Right.
always bets a king on turn or river.
It just comes down to if you have a tricky opponent who sometimes won't,
Yeah.
will sometimes check his flushes, and also an opponent capable of folding an 8 a lot,
Yeah.
then you probably can't bet.
I mean, the other thing you have to ask yourself is just like, if I didn't have it, would I be bluffing here? And if you would, then you need to bet more of your pocket jacks.
That makes sense. You're a smart guy, Jonathan.
Trying, always trying.
Joseph really wanted to play that
He's
king
so
5.
unhappy. Professor's going to limp with the king 10.
Austin's going to limp the small blind with the 7-4. Sure, whatever.
And we have a...
I don't know why Professor wouldn't just raise there.
Yeah, me either.
Such
Well,
an easy spot for a raise.
he's going to flop the best hand by a lot. He's got these guys. Look, he's 99% to win on this flop. That's insane.
You know, we could have spent like 22 seconds less on that hand if the Professor just raised.
99% on a flop 3 ways, and you just flopped 1 pair. That is very unusual.
Yeah, I mean,
They needed to go running trips. That's all they had.
poker
But
time
still.
is magical. Things that don't happen frequently elsewhere. Sometimes they happen on poker time. It's like
True. It's like Narnia.
I was thinking it's like that planet with the blue people in Avatar. I forgot what the planet's name is.
I believe it was called unobtainium.
No, that's the name of the mineral, which is the dumbest name in the history of movie making.
Yes, that is correct. Giovanni Ribisi still has to feel it. He's the first guy to ever say the word unobtainium
Yeah.
in film, and he's got to really rue that moment.
Yep.
Why, James Cameron? Why? I'm sure he thinks that a lot. When
He
he's
might
like
think
in
that,
the shower.
but then he's like, "But I was in Boiler Room. That was pretty good.
Was it?
I thought it was pretty good.
He was in the Mod Squad. I mean, come on.
You didn't think Boiler Room was good?
Yeah, that's fair. Way overrated that movie is.
Affleck, Diesel,
Yeah.
Ribisi. How can you go wrong?
I feel like all right, let's just take a moment. I feel like Giovanni Ribisi really hasn't really shown a whole lot considering the amount of acclaim he's gotten and like the way people think, oh, he's a good actor. What has he really ever done, that guy? And don't say Boiler Room. Give me anything else. Anything.
He was in some Mark Wahlberg movie as the bad guy. I know
I
that.
believe that.
He's like the third level of the tier of actor that starts with Edward Norton and then Sam Rockwell and then it's him. That's how
That
it goes.
is, this is exactly the problem. He is not third tier. But anyway, Snuggie opens under the gun with ace 8 off, and looks like it may just get through. Yep, you gotta believe.
I can't do
It
it.
always feels good when you have ace 8 off and you raise at full table under the gun to just win that $15 because you don't want any action with that hand.
No,
Ace 8 off.
Please, everyone, go away.
that's basically a bluff. I don't know what it is.
I mean, there are people at this table who will call very wide, right? So that's something.
Yeah,
But,
but there's no really good flops for ace 8 off except for the 8 high all of your ace suit flop.
Well, that's good. I mean, 2 pair. Or better
Yeah,
is always
yeah.
good. There are very few good flops, and when someone calls you, you really don't like your spot immediately. So that's what happens when you open under the gun with that kind of a hand. Here's Mitzif, not going to open with that kind of a hand. Different, but still.
A little bit worse than ace 8 off.
Okay, but,
Digitally.
suffers from similar problems.
Austin's getting a little cheesy with the 10-8 off here. I don't know what cheesy is the
Yeah.
adjective. It's
I
just
don't
'cause,
know
like,
either.
I thought I could think of a better adjective mid-sentence,
happen.
and I just cheesy's all I got.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it just doesn't work.
Let's see. Snuggie looks like he is going to play. He's got connectors here. It makes sense. Everyone with an 8 or 7 in their hand.
Can't say you're not trying.
Snuggie completely dominated by all.
Terminator flops clearly best.
Yes.
Nice. You just
Austin going to continue, and there's no way this is going to get through, obviously. Easy call for the Terminator, smiling as he does it.
If clubs don't come, there is a way
Yes.
for Austin to win this hand. Even if clubs do come, there's a way for Austin to win this hand.
Terminator picks up the gut shot as well. Let's see if Austin continues.
What are you talking about?
Sorry, Austin picks up the
Yeah,
gut
okay.
shot. My mistake. Terminator already now has to think about it a little bit, but not too much thinking, as we see. Easy call, and indeed it is.
I mean, a third barrel is going to be pretty tough.
it's not going to be great.
It's the Jack of Clubs, which Terminator has a pretty high flush considering the Ace, Jack, and Queen are all out there. But if Austin bets, he's clearly repping a better flush.
He's repping the king or the 10 of clubs.
Yep.
Those are pretty much it. I don't think you can fold here, though. Yeah. This is a bluff catching hand. That's all it is, and it's going to be an easy win.
And
Terminator
Austin-
hopefully remembers also that just last episode, he triple barreled Austin and showed it. So
Oh, Austin might want revenge, you're saying?
I'm saying those things do play into this.
Yeah.
All these moments a little bit. When you're trying to decide, do I want to give up or not, you might be a little bit more apt to go after trying to get back Terminator. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that it's an emotional game.
On a much larger scale, I think that's hashtag King's entire strategy. Make people want to get
right.
you.
Absolutely. I mean, and then, and hopefully have them punch you and then sue them.
Yeah.
That's the other
Unfortunately for him, he's not good enough at poker to capitalize on any of those
move.
moments.
No, even the getting punched and being able to sue them
Yeah.
is not good enough at poker to pull that off. Hit me, bro. Hit me. That's hashtag King.
Yep.
He's one of the least impressive humans I've ever
Yeah, screw that
seen
guy.
in the world. Here's the professor limping with the Jack 7 suited. He's unusual, but no one can ever put this guy in a hand, and it's completely worked for him so far.
I mean, I wouldn't play like him, but it's been working.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he bought him for like $1,000. He's almost doubled up, and he hasn't won any big pots. He hasn't had to do anything.
Yeah.
He's never had a tough decision. He's just betting, and everyone folds every time.
And he has way the best of it here.
Looks like there might have been no. Well, he's got a great chance to win again if he decides to continue.
He's not even continuing if he bets.
Well, he turns the best hand.
Well, now he's going to win. Mitzv's going to bet. It's reasonable to take a shot here with your Jack High.
Sure.
You could have a 6. You could have a King.
No question. Absolutely can have a 6. Professor really should call this, although can really only beat a bluff here. But There
Right.
can be a semi-bluff in terms of like an open-ender or something.
If Mitzv bets again on the river, you're going to have to consider folding a lot of the time as Professor.
Yep. I think you'd have to ask yourself is, Mitziv gives up. Would Mitziv bet 8-9?
Once again, no hard decisions for the Professor. He just gets to cruise along on his image, I guess. I guess Mitzv's like, this guy just isn't going to fold.
Right. Probably true. I'm not sure. But one thing that everyone did get to see, and this happened last episode as well, is everyone got to see his hand. Remember he barreled Digital Dan with bottom pair, and Digital Dan
Oh,
called
yeah,
with
4-5.
ace high, and everyone got to see that. So everyone got to see this also. They could see that he limped with it. Got to see how he played that, and that's going to have some meaning to at least some of these players.
No matter what you may think, he definitely doesn't always have it.
Right.
Which is, it seems to be the perception of the other players that the Professor always has it, but I think he rarely has it so far.
He's had it like once, and he's bet, like 12 times.
Batiste with a nice hand for the cutoff.
Sure. Snuggie looks like he's decided not to fold.
Well, he's got the straight flush blockers.
He does. Boy, if it comes all spades. Oh, Joseph just throws away the ace there. Interesting. Most players are going to call there.
It was a $40 raise. A little big for
Yeah.
the game. Not everybody's making it that big. And that's a great flop for Batiste. Snuggie flops a gut shot.
And Snuggie also does. They both flop backdoor spades. Snuggie probably feels obligated to continue here. I think it makes sense to call here.
I think I like raising better.
In position, I actually like a call.
I think both are fine. I mean, you can rep a lot by raising, where like you can now rep clubs if you would raise the flop a little bit more easily, I think.
How much does Batiste hate this card? This is the worst card in the deck, I think.
Well,
for Batiste.
Snuggie never has an overpair, so it's not a huge deal.
No,
you
but
might have a 3, I guess.
Clubs and the 3 come in.
Yeah.
The only things you really don't, the things you least want to see come in. He checks it back. You got to feel good though now.
Well,
And
now
that-
Batiste feels pretty good. He's like, oh man, if Snuggie has a jack, I'm getting paid huge.
Yes.
What do you think about Batiste moving in here?
Interesting. Well, you know what? That's pretty. I like it. Snuggie's gonna call if he has a jack.
Yeah.
I definitely like the idea of an overbet.
He did bet 200 into 185.
It's an interesting idea to just take a shot at 600, 700, 800.
I mean literally
No, I know.
moving it in.
No, I know.
1.2K.
Problem is, like, you don't get like the 9s are mostly going to fold now.
Right,
You
I-
might get called by a 3, but Snuggie almost never has.
But
a
if
3.
Snuggy's going to call with a jack the majority of the time, if you bet 1.2K,
Oh, yeah, he
it's
is.
definitely plus EV to move in. Then.
Isn't he going to call the majority of the time with a jack? I think most players would.
Then it's probably plus EV to move in for 6 times the pot.
I'm not sure, would Snuggie bet a jack on the turn if we checked to him? It was a sort of a bit of a scare card, but we checked. He's often going to bet top pair, so he has less jacks than he
Yeah,
might otherwise
I
have.
guess
That's the
that's-
only concern.
That's true.
If I don't know, he's not defined to that many jacks compared to the other things he can have.
No, it's very old.
Dan limping the 9s here.
Huh. Digital Dan wants to play a multi-way pot, apparently. Batiste can consider, but it's just a little too far away from that button to call.
I bet it happens all the time with fantasy.
Joseph can't believe he's going to get to only put in $5. Let's see a flop. Let's see if the Professor lets it happen. Yep.
King
Professor
jack.
absolutely could have raised also.
Yep. Well, it's a decent flop for Dan's 9s here. I expect him to bet.
Professor does have overs and 2 back doors. He'll be out of position. It was cheap, but relative to the pot, I guess it wasn't. He
It
could
was
have
a-
called once.
It's
but
also
fine to
just a
fold.
tiny pot. Who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. Totally fine to fold. And Digital Dan, pretty tight.
Also-
Mostly has it.
Also, yeah, he's not c-betting. He's choosing to bet having limped, so
Right.
his range is a bit more all over that board than if he's just c-betting from his under-the-gun range where he has some ace-highs.
Agreed. Like, if he had raised, we might call a little more comfortably. Hope he checks the turn, and then we can bluff the river if we don't improve.
Yeah.
Could have been a quarter. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. You lost the
Professor could have just let out himself on that board, too. That wouldn't have been crazy. But
what Snuggie said.
the natural order of things prevailed that time.
You mean the digital one slowly taking everybody?
Slowly absorbing
Yeah.
all currency and things in the world.
Until he becomes a supernova of digital.
That is correct. That is exactly right. Do you know why they call him Digital Dan, by the way?
Invented the digital spoon.
No,
Okay.
it's obviously not true. No, he actually invented a process called digital layering. Digital layering is for graphical artists, and it enables them to make those wonderful computer-generated images that you see in
Hey,
such popular
buddy,
movies.
we
such
got
as,
action
okay,
here.
we got a real
Everybody
thing.
checked the flop, which is really interesting because
Huh.
there was top pair against middle pair, and now Batiste has made 2 pair on the turn.
Yeah, I'm glad you said something. I was going to keep going with that. Joseph absolutely has to call here.
Yeah, of course, especially considering that Batiste check. Batiste likes to check the flop with pretty strong hands a lot of the time,
Yeah, he'll do that.
and that is not the best card, but not the worst.
It's not too bad. You got to. I like betting here for sure.
I don't think Joseph's going to pay off though.
Well, what can we beat it for Joseph? We need to basically. Batista's going to check a jack. He's going to check a king, I think.
And there was no flush draw on the turn, so he can't have a combo draw with a queen.
We're only chopping with a king anyway. Batiste just has to be on air here, otherwise we're beat as Joseph.
And as we've seen over the past couple of sessions that Batiste has played, he's not had air very frequently when he takes a line like this.
He is capable of having air, of course, but it's not that common. I think this is the time to go. I think Joseph's right to really think about this one. It is only 85. He's getting a reasonably good price. He's getting better than 3-1. It's not crazy to call at the price he's getting at all.
Unfortunately for him, Batiste had pretty near the top of his range there.
Yes. You could also be potentially chopping with a king, which isn't what you want, but for 85, it's not
Do
crazy.
you really think Batiste is betting a king?
Well, when you bet the turn and Joseph calls with the jack turn, you may be trying to get value out of a jack.
Push me off a chop a bunch.
Maybe. I
Also,
mean,
you feel like Joseph almost never has an ace because he checked the flop. I feel like you're sort of free rolling.
Yeah,
free rolling some jack
I
value.
guess. I just don't really think in practice Batiste is betting a king.
You might be right.
He also doesn't have that many kings in his range, having raised pre-flop that aren't basically king-queen, which we block as Joseph.
Well, I mean, we're chopping with all kings anyway.
I know. I'm just
Okay.
saying he doesn't have that many kings.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He doesn't. Batiste isn't the guy who has king 9 suited there in early
Yeah, it's
position.
like king 10 suited or king queen with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably right. That's a fair point.
Adidas versus Nike. Adidas is winning in the poker time world right now as far as stack size. Joseph has more than Mitzif.
Adidas is actually coming back in the real world too. You know, picking up market share left and right.
Well, good for them.
How this feels.
Yes.
Ask Dan.
So
We got
working
some
out
sort of action going on. We
digital
have,
layering, as I was saying, for wonderful computer-generated graphics and such movies as Jurassic World and Avengers: Infinity War. That's thanks to Digital Dan. That's why they call him Digital Dan. The layering.
I'm going to say something to you that I don't know. You might not want to hear it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
No.
Well, I'm going to say it anyway because
Okay.
the viewers now need to know. I think that was probably the worst Digital Dan joke we've done.
That wasn't even a joke.
Whatever it is, the worst Digital Dan explanation.
It got interrupted midway through, in fairness. Digital Dan with top
All right,
pair, Snuggie with top pair.
and bottom, and the backdoor flush draw.
Yeah. Digital Dan going to have to lose a little bit of money in this or get improving in a hurry. A jack or an ace.
He's in trouble here. He's going to lose a decent amount of money, and these
Yep.
guys have a bit of a vendetta against each other as well.
They do. There's nothing Snuggie's going to be happier than is taking Digital Dan's money from people at this table.
Right.
And maybe Mitzvah.
No, Mitzvah, he really wants
What a turn card
Well,
for the Digital one.
The Digital one is going to hold over Snuggie for life.
Snuggie's going to be so upset.
As Joe Stapleton might say, you're of Slovenia.
Yeah. So Digital Dan's got to decide between raising and calling here. King 10 has just improved. It's not crazy to just call. Sucks to be out of position in
I
this
think he
spot.
should lead here.
He might
9-10
just
got there, which kind of sucks,
Yeah.
but Snuggie did bet twice.
Snuggie looks like he is at least consider. Oh,
He checks
did
it right
good
back.
Good job, Snuggie. And now there it is.
There's the frustration, yeah.
Can you believe my Queen 5 lost?
Well, you voluntarily played Queen 5. Sometimes that happens.
He was a pretty big favorite on the flop.
He was. But, that's part of the reason you don't want to play those hands in early position because that type of thing happens a lot more frequently to hands like Queen 5
Yeah.
than it does to hands that, are better.
Yep, no question about it. It's really hard for Digital Dan to get counterfeited out of two pair when he has two pair with the ace queen.
Yep. And so Snuggie definitely wants to destroy Mitzvah, but if he could pick a second guy to destroy him, sure it would be Digital Dan.
Oh, yeah. And Mitzvah's more good-natured. I'm not so sure it's like, there's a lot of camaraderie and brotherhood between him and the
No,
Digital one.
I think Dan actually got genuinely a little annoyed with Snuggie when he kept calling him a nut peddler, and
Yeah.
then Dan four-bet the 4-deuce and showed Snuggie the 4-deuce when Snuggie folded the queens, and Dan clearly was very happy about it and vindictive with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Which, I understand Dan's perspective there. Snuggie kept doing it, calling him a nut peddler
By the
over and
way,
over.
So we have a hand here where Austin is 3-betting light with the ace-5 suited.
And just getting called by Mitzvah, and what a great flop for Mitzvah.
How long is Mitzvah going to hold on versus, is he just going to go for check call all the way, or is he going to put in a raise at some point? He's got to believe he has the best hand almost always.
The problem
here.
is how hard it is to get paid.
Yep.
Like, if Austin has an underpair to the king, he's not going to pay very much.
He goes for an immediate raise. It's not the worst time to do it. It looks like he's saying I have a 6 or nothing. Turns out he has ace-king. And Austin, look at this.
Ooh, this might work.
Austin does not believe.
It's also going to be a tough spot for Mitzvah now, although his plan must be just to go with it.
He only has $830. He's like, well, I block aces, I'm losing to aces. I block kings, I'm losing to kings. How does he ever have a 6? What are you going to do?
Do you think Mitzvah's face is genuine there? He's actually kind of worried about this situation, or he's just trying to make sure he can get called by slightly worse hands like queens? Which I don't know if Austin would ever play this way, but
Yeah.
it's hard to think of hands that can call us at this point if we move in. But we have such few chips compared to the pot now.
There he goes. He is moving in. I think he was always moving
Does
in.
Austin have to call?
No.
No, 410 to
course
call.
not.
I thought it was less. If it was like
at this.
150.
Look at this. Austin, finally, one of his moves really didn't work.
Yes, it really did not work.
He 3-bets the flop with ace high and got it shoved down his throat, and now he's just Hollywooding.
He has to fold. But what do you think Austin should do if it was 150 more instead of 410 more? Isn't that a funny spot?
I guess we have to call if it's 150 more we're getting, and there's 2,000 in the pot. I guess
can-
we have to call
we
and hope
can
to
hit
spike
like
an ace.
running fives or something.
Yeah. And
Mitzvah shows an ace.
for Austin, that's probably enough anyways. Like, well, I couldn't beat anything. Even if he had ace-queen, he's
Yeah.
way ahead. See, Austin didn't believe it because I think it was 6-6 king. And
Yeah.
he's like, how do you have it? Like,
Yeah.
that's a ridiculous raise.
It's cool to see Mitzvah expand his check raising range beyond just the obvious thing.
It is, and it's cool that it really worked out so well for him. Like, a lot of times Austin's just going to fold there, but he's got a lot of game, that guy, and a lot of aggressive game.
That
Just
he
like
does.
Blue from Jurassic World.
I thought you
the
meant
raptor.
from Blue's Clues.
the dog.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of game too, but not so aggressive.
You mean game with the lady dogs, though?
Of course, I mean that.
Joseph getting a bit out of bounds again. He's a little jazzy today. He's like feeling it.
Jazzy Joseph. That's a great name for him.
Any alliteration is good.
Austin, did he call or did he 3-bet?
He
did
3-bet.
3-bet. He's been 3-betting a lot.
It's a pretty small 3-bet for a cash game.
It is. It is. It's probably going to work anyway because Joseph has 5 high.
Under on 5-9?
But
Over under.
let's see. Joseph out of position, probably just not going to call.
Oh,
I'm
yeah?
wrong.
Is that so?
Take the under on 100.
He is suited. And
If he knew what Austin had, he would have called quickly.
Yep.
Now he's going to end up losing. Though.
He's going to probably just check fold. I imagine Austin will bet.
It's over 130. Okay, I go 130. I go
Although Joseph has a lot more 10s in his range than Austin should have in his, he could decide to rep the 10.
He could, but from what we've seen, repping it a little bit may not be enough against Austin anyway. Probably it will after the last hand.
Yeah.
I would make a bet.
Anyway, Joseph, yeah, he isn't folded right away. He doesn't want to. Whoa.
Oh, this
Is
is
he really
interesting.
going to do this?
Sometimes Joseph does
Yeah.
this and then folds.
He takes a lot of time in these, and as the pots get bigger, he really takes his time and thinks through all the options at least. Usually
Lets it go.
folds. That's fair.
He did see an opportunity, and he was right.
Owning the
He was. I don't know that Austin's going to necessarily fold to a small check raise right away anyway. With he's got the ace of diamonds in his hand. He's got the Broadway draw. But he's not going to like it. He's going to have to fold the most turns.
The competition wasn't very strong.
Apparently, you
Still favored.
I wonder if Austin's reeling a little bit from the hand with
That was a
Mitzvah.
fun night, though.
Probably a little bit. Well, he plays a high variance style though,
He
so
had-
he may be just used to it.
He had built up quite a stack, and now he's at even or less. I'm not sure how much he bought in for.
He gave away about $750 in that pot with a whole lot of nothing.
Now he's got way the best of it. Professor continues to limp.
Yeah. See, it's interesting seeing Austin do this right now. I would think this guy's just tilting, and I'm
Yes.
looking to like.
But he's
3-bet
had
a
real
lot.
hands.
Yeah, I'd be really looking to 3-bet him.
That's the crappy thing about being Austin in this scenario, where you get hands like Ace Jack and Ace 10, and people might assume you're tilting. The hands that don't love getting 3-bet, but you're like, I actually kind of do have it though.
Yeah.
And then you end up leveling yourself in that spot sometimes.
Yep. Probably just call. So you get 3-bet and proceed accordingly. You know, do your best to hold on.
Well, this
Good
is
flop for everybody.
Interesting flop. Professor's just going to lead right out. It looks like.
Well, Austin is definitely not going to fold the flop. That
No.
I know.
It's not a great flop for him when he gets led into, but he can't fold yet.
I mean, Professor has a lot of draws on this flop, though,
Yeah.
right? Once he can have strong hands, but he's got a lot of flush draws, a lot of straight draws.
That card shouldn't change anything. Professor kind of gives up here.
Austin checks back. I'm surprised he didn't try and charge the draws.
The 8 is not a huge part of Professor's range. At least it shouldn't be.
Professor's been going for it in these spots and getting away with it constantly, but he does not try here. Maybe because he's got ace high.
Austin's probably just going to take his winnings here. Yeah. Tap the table.
It's like, all right, that's a win for the A-man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Aardvark Austin. Everybody's got to have alliteration. Digital Dan, Jazzy Joseph, Aardvark Austin.
What's Snuggy?
So you're only
I don't know.
swapping if you both
We got to
make
think about that one. I almost said something that I shouldn't have said.
Yeah, that's what I thought might happen. That was a little bit of a trap for you. I put the twigs and berries over the hole, see if you'd fall in. You know?
At times, we could call him Steamy Snuggy.
But what do you mean by that? Do you mean it like from Grey's Anatomy, McSteamy?
Yeah. He looks a lot like that guy.
Jeff's going to have like 3 big bets.
Hey, we just did a Grey's Anatomy reference. How about that?
Can't
That's crazy.
wait to get all the fan mail from the Grey's Anatomy fans.
You can tell by my hold'em game.
There was what was the first guy? Mick. I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I mean,
Didn't it rhyme with Steamy?
No, but it was a Mick something also.
Wasn't it
close.
McDreamy?
Oh my God! It was McDreamy. You're right. McDreamy and McSteamy. Boy, the people from Europe are really wondering what's going on right now. Probably.
Grey's-
Everyone knows what Grey's Anatomy
It's
is.
huge in Slovenia. And look at this. Mitzvah has aces.
Hey.
Unfortunately for him, nobody else has a hand that can really stand up to much action.
Yeah. The wrong guy had Queen Jack there. Some of these
Yeah.
guys with Queen Jack might call, but Digital Dan's never calling. Second time Mitzvah's had aces in this session. Both times, everyone just folded. Not so bad, though.
It's sad, though.
Not so bad to win a pot, you know?
Yeah, and I guess he did get the boon of a couple sessions ago having Snuggy shove Queen 5 into his aces, so
Yeah.
it's hard to get something that good happening.
And, you know, like you had someone open for 50. There were some callers. You pick up an uncontested pot for like 150, 170 bucks. What's the problem?
Mischievous Mitzvah? That's got to be it, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, that's a good one. That's really good. We got to get him a hat that says that.
We have a nickname for Batiste that we call him on our poker trips that we go on with him sometimes. I don't know if he wants us to name him that on the show.
Pretty sure he doesn't. But you can tell him what the nickname is. We don't have to name him that.
Baby Bappy.
I can't believe you said it.
It's Baby Bappy.
Baby Baps. Yeah, he doesn't like that at all.
No, he does not.
So if you ever see him anywhere, guys, audience, and you don't call him Baby Bappy, whatever you do.
Yeah,
Baby
that's the
Bap.
last thing you should do.
Also, he hates being called the Big Deal.
Yeah. So
All right, here we
definitely
go.
don't call him those things.
So limped pot. Does anyone have anything here?
Nope.
No, not at all. Huge miss. Huge
Nope.
whiff.
Nothing anywhere. No jack either. Although that does create a double gutter for Austin.
Yeah, and that is it. Austin checks his double gutter. Well, it's the
this-
third club.
Yeah, and then there's another club. So Mitzev gets to win with the 9 of clubs here.
Let's see if anyone puts out any money. Austin so wants to take a shot at it. He really wants to. He's thinking, can I steal this pot? There's only $40 in there, though, and he lets it go. Mitzev was definitely going to call.
Yes, for sure. Maybe if Austin bets like $300.
Yeah,
Wow, got there.
but any normal bet, Mitzev was not going anywhere. Betting $300 to win the 40 in 4 ways when 4 clubs are up, probably a bad idea as a bluff.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't work out enough of the time. Also, once you do it once, people are going to really be hoping you do it again. You know, lay some traps.
The twigs and the berries.
Yeah, weapons of mass destruction, all that.
We got to get that guy on the show.
Vince Van Patten?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking he could replace you, and it'd be a really different show.
Yeah, I agree. It would be definitely different.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Why isn't Mike Sexton doing the show with us, too? He basically is.
I would give him my spot.
And Vince, this guy, he just folded an ace before the flop. I can't believe it, Vince. That's every Mike Sexton thing ever.
When a guy doesn't check raise a weak top pair, he's like, I can't believe he's letting his opponent draw for free.
And the Carpenter's really going to have to build one heck of a bluff to get out of this one, Vince.
Yep. By the way, Austin has kind of lost his mind and raised to
Yeah.
40 under the gun with 7-8 off. We haven't seen him do stuff quite like this yet.
You're just going to, looks like.
Oh, we got
you
3-bet.
Wow, by Mitzvah's King 6.
Mitzev recognizes maybe that Austin is reeling a little bit. Nope, that's not what happened at all.
Oh.
That's all a lie. Whatever that said is a lie.
Why?
Because the professor is collecting the chips.
All right, well, software wrong.
I think the professor had ace 10 and actually
Yeah.
did 3-bet, which is interesting because Austin opened under the gun.
It worked. Professor feels like a fantastic man right now.
Yes. A fantastic man.
If you run this bad, that bad.
Batista said he's not cutting his hair until he wins the World Series of Poker main event, or at least $1 million in one event at the World Series. So we'll see what that leads to.
That's
It's exciting.
just a complete lie.
Which part is a lie?
The whole everything you said.
How would you even know? Are you always present for everything that guy says?
I have listening devices. I'm not present.
All right, fair enough. I wasn't expecting you to have such a good comeback. Yeah. Batiste looks like I'm never going to win the main event.
Well, it's pretty hard to win the main event.
I'm never going to get this haircut now. It's going to be a problem eventually.
You don't have to win the main event to win $1 million. You can win $1 million other ways.
So did Terminator raise blind? Because it sure looks like
Yep.
you may have.
I believe Terminator has made it 40 blind.
All right, back to some of this. Now, of course, you cannot straddle in Portland. You're not allowed, but you are allowed to raise blind.
It's fine if somebody. I'm like. You'll
It
get
has
me,
happened.
Like, I'll buy in for
This
this.
is a pretty good candidate for a
raise.
Yeah.
Looks like just a call. People seem to misplay against these blind raises a lot in this game where they act as if it's a
Trust
real
me, I
raise
want
a
your
little bit
money,
too
too.
much.
I think sometimes they don't know that it wasn't a real raise either. Like if you're not really paying attention, you might miss that.
Maybe, but there's often a lot of talk about the blind
Yeah.
raises, or there's been like it's been going for a couple orbits, so it's obvious.
Yeah, you're right.
And I don't think anything happened
Nope.
on this flop. Once again, nobody flops anything at all.
Austin with the back doors. Professor improves to a 9 and has the best hand by
Joseph
a lot.
with a gut shot.
Yep. See if anyone wants to put any money in this. Professor's probably going to bet if they check to him, right?
Yeah, I would
Oh,
imagine.
Joseph's going to bet. We know Professor doesn't fold middle pair in this spot.
He bets 150, 140.
Nitrogen has
That's
Well,
it.
there are three spades.
That's just plain incorrect because I can tell that's more than 140, but it's probably just 145.
Yeah.
And Professor just folds.
Yeah. He's got all the people behind him. It's not
Yeah.
ideal. You're usually good, but
Do we all get a
at least
free
against
force
everyone
back
else,
stick
maybe
or
not
what?
against Joseph. Joseph's usually going to bet his flush draws on the flop, though, when it checks to him. So, and you've got the best 9. He could be slow playing, though, a 3. I don't know. It's not a great spot. You don't really want to have to call a big bet on the river, which you're often going to have to do.
80, and then I can't take the flop with like Jack 9.
Yeah, I agree.
I still thought he was going to call.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I probably would call.
Yep.
Thank God. Save the quarter. Good job, Campbell.
Joseph with a very playable hand in the hijack here.
Yep, time to get attacking. Marshal your forces.
Yeah, well said.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Digital Dan, still thinking about layering.
I don't think he is. Terminator is the best of it here somehow,
Digital Dan bucks.
although not the most equity.
Well,
Now
I
he
think
is the most-
Joseph's going to win a lot.
I think you're right.
That's my very sage prediction. Nope.
No, he
just
just
the
checks
back.
it. That's
He
weird.
still can have.
Well, now he has a flush draw.
Yeah.
He could bet now and rep a king.
He can rep an ace even.
Yeah.
Trip aces and the guy who checked trip aces. People do that all the time. Like, he bet
Doesn't-
65 into 2. Oh, no, he doesn't. He
It
bet
doesn't
65
matter
into,
what he's repping. Those hands have to fold.
Of course.
Yeah. And that bright phone is still there. Does that not hurt his eyes? Does he have the brightness setting on like a beyond factory setting? Did he hack his phone?
Baggy on that board.
Remember that in the day where you could jailbreak your iPhone? What a big deal that was?
Yeah, I never did that, but
I did it once.
I always felt like I was kind of like not the cool kids because I wasn't
yeah.
jailbreaking my
I
iPhone.
jailbroke my phone. Got a few pirate, not really pirate, but like sort of gray apps. You know, apps that are like questionable that
Yeah.
weren't approved and stuff. But it wasn't that good. I went back to normal.
Did you get to feel alive though?
Of course, that's why you do all these things.
The
I
professor's
felt
got a
alive
nice
for
head.
a solid minute. Professor with the Jack 10 suited, yes. Yes, Professor, yes. Terminator can't call.
Batiste
Batiste.
looks foldy.
Nope. And we're just gonna have another raise and take. We've had a fair amount of those this session or this episode. We normally don't.
Yeah, maybe the hands have just been that way, or
Yeah.
maybe the fumes in the room have made everybody tired. Possibly have a gas leak.
It's working on me. I'm exhausted. I'm falling asleep over here, bro.
Yeah, but that's just kind of your lifestyle.
That's just me. Yeah, it doesn't matter where I am.
Yeah.
You're right. It's nice. I'm sleepy-eyed me.
sleepy-eyed me. Okay, well said. Once again,
There's a meme somewhere with my name on it. Okay, let's go.
Mitzvah looks ready to do battle with his posture there. It looks
That
like
hat also is pretty sharp.
pretty sharp.
I like it.
Does it have a bladed edge?
Oh, I just mean it looks good.
Professor with another pretty good hand here.
Gonna raise it up and not min raise this time.
Yep, I think he's learned the way the game is playing and decided the min raises aren't really effective.
Yep.
Terminator could 3-bet here, but it looks like he just called. Oh, he did 3-bet. Pretty small 3-bet, though. Ooh, this is an interesting spot for a 4-bet if you're Batiste. He really wants to do it. He always notices these spots and never pulls the trigger.
It's hard to pull the trigger. Mostly
It
you're
is.
not supposed to do it.
The professor just...
Wow.
Oh,
no,
he
no,
didn't.
no.
No,
He still got his
that's a
cards.
lie. Okay.
That would be crazy.
That would have been insane.
When Terminator 3 bets you should call with any kind of normal hand. I think it's... Whoa.
Whoa.
He shows a card. Why? Did Terminator show a card as well?
King in the window.
Terminator did not.
What just happened?
This is called ways to make zero money. And now Terminator shows... Oh, folds. Yeah.
Thank you.
He showed the card?
He showed a card before the flop came out. Terminator hadn't done so, and it was a king high board, so he can never get anything else out of Terminator.
You should try it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that.
I guess he's just messing around.
Roll over the good
That's
one.
called not collecting the C bet, right? I mean,
That was strange.
Terminator's definitely going to C bet on that board most of the time.
That was very strange.
Yeah.
King deuce, maybe.
Joseph, did you see the way he looked up at Terminator? He's like, my eyes hurt so much from this phone. it's too bright. Professor's back to making it 20.
Okay. Well, that 30 thing didn't work, although it did work. It worked fine. He got
Yeah.
3-bet and he won the pot.
Although he didn't win it as much as he probably could have.
Well, he won it his way.
Look all
It's like
this.
Frank Sinatra.
Look at all the sevens out here. This
Yeah.
is
Open-ender
Jeremiah
from the-
is telling me this is the last hand of
Okay.
the episode.
Thanks, Jerry. It's an open ender for the professor. He's going to continue. It's probably going to do it, right?
Yeah, I think that's going to end it. Jeremiah does such a better job than Tatiana. And that is going to do it, I think, for this episode of Poker Time. We're going to see you guys next week for the continuation of this session.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
Every night tonight. Never
Is that a question?
We'll see you then.